Hey guys, this is Joseph from BlackboxMyCar. As many cities across the globe are now going into full lockdown because of the coronavirus, the pressure on healthcare workers are mounting. These healthcare workers are working grueling hours in acute care facilities, which means they're often working longer periods of time, leaving their cars unattended. Don't forget that their lives outside of work aren't easy either. They still have to scramble to get groceries for their own families. And not only that, they still have to practice meticulous hygiene just to protect themselves before they enter their homes. But a new problem that happened in Vancouver recently has caught many people by surprise.
Well, from downtown to East Vancouver, a crime spree there overnight has left a local paramedic without her work gear. Annelie says that all of her equipment was stolen from the trunk of her car overnight. She just finished an 11-hour shift and got home at midnight. The next day, everything was gone. That includes changes of her uniform, helmet, boots, and a stethoscope.
Annelie's story broke the hearts of many Vancouverites and had many more realize the importance of having a dash cam in your car. So what we ended up doing at BlackboxMyCar is we reached out to Annelie and we invited her for a quick chat today. So hey Annelie, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming today. So being a frontline worker at this time must be especially challenging given the widespread just horrors of the coronavirus. It must also be extremely difficult that your gear got stolen as well and you were temporarily forced off the job. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
It's definitely a difficult time for everybody, and it presents new challenges in the field of paramedicine and the work that I do. I think that initially when I had my gear stolen, I was really disheartened and disappointed that that's what's happening. It made sense to me because obviously with everything shutting down and slowing down in the city, it's going to affect crime levels as well. But I was just disappointed that somebody would not consider that, like, right now my role as a paramedic is important to maybe leave that stuff behind. But I was super overwhelmed by the outpouring of support that I got after I spoke to the news about the incident. And then I couldn't believe the amount of support. And then in the end, having some residents of a shelter were actually the ones who returned it to the fire hall. And that meant a lot to me, that these people who didn't have to do this decided to do something that was really helpful to me out of the kindness of their hearts. So the whole experience in the end was a really positive one, just to sort of reaffirm how community works.
That's awesome. I do want to give a shout out to the local shelter for helping Annelie with getting her gear back. That's amazing to see just how the outpour of the generosity of the community, coming together to help you out in this situation. That's incredible. One of the things I did note was that you didn't want to bring your equipment inside, and that's how the whole incident started, because you didn't want to potentially contaminate your family. So, based on this experience, how are you protecting yourself now?
Well, actually, since the incident, I haven't worked, because first I was prevented from working by not having my uniform. Now I'm ready to go and I'll be starting on Friday.
That's good.
And my plan is that if I do need to bring anything home, I will just bag it and keep it in the front area of, like, my entrance area of my apartment if I need to bring it inside. I don't think right now anybody should be leaving anything remotely valuable in their cars. I've heard a lot of reports on, like, local Facebook groups from the neighborhood and just talking to neighbors that crime is definitely up, and we all need to be really diligent in making sure that nothing is left as something that can be targeted. So I shouldn't have left it in the car in the first place, but under the circumstances, it was late. I haven't really had this type of problem before, having my car broken into, so I thought it may be okay, but moving forward, I'm not leaving anything in my vehicle anymore.
Absolutely. So one thing that when we first saw your story, you know, it was definitely heartbreaking, and that's why we at BlackboxMyCar, we specialize in selling dash cams, which is all about vehicle safety. You know, when we saw your story, we knew that the dash cam would be perfect for protecting you and your family in these situations. What do you think of that? What do you think? So, have you had experiences using a dash cam before?
No, I've never had a dash cam before. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I understand the gist that, you know, it's filming forward, and I've heard and seen a lot of like calls out before in the community, like if anybody has dash cam footage of this or that. So it'll be nice to be able to help out in that way. And even just the way I park my car, if I have a dash cam, it's going to be able to surveil my whole building's parking lot, which is, it's the back entrance of my building is kind of the weak link on the protection of our property. And so now having this camera will be amazing. I should have mentioned in the outpouring of support, you guys were part of that. I was just so overwhelmed, like that everybody is reaching out and finding ways that they can help improve this situation. So thank you guys for that.
Absolutely. We're really trying our best to help here. And, you know, to add to that, we're planning on doing a much bigger, even bigger campaign to help healthcare workers in May. But, you know, it's too early to talk about that for now. Speaking of which, you know, have there been a lot of cases where, something we want to talk about is paramedics, doctors, nurses, especially at the hospitals. Is there a lot of situations where car theft happens at the hospitals?
It's not unheard of. Like there has been incidents in the past, and actually just yesterday another paramedic contacted me. She's staying at a hotel in downtown Vancouver, and she had her personal car broken into after a shift and had all her gear stolen. So you know, sort of a repeat incident, and so I know exactly how she's feeling right now. At the hospitals, we're fairly secure, but where we park our vehicles at the ambulance stations, it's not always like an on-premises parking spot. It can be in a neighborhood or a parkade. So I mean, I think, you know, now that dash cams are becoming more prevalent, it's could really benefit a lot of people.
Absolutely. You know, we'll also reach out to her to try and help as well. I think, especially during this time, healthcare professionals can definitely benefit from a dash cam. One thing I did want to mention is that you had a GoFundMe page created after this incident happened to raise money for new equipment, and you ended up raising $953, which you've, you know, now generously donated to the Greater Vancouver Food Bank. So is there any way that we or our viewers can help additionally on top of this?
Well, there was actually two GoFundMes. Somebody, before I even thought of that, somebody was so outraged that they took it upon themselves to set one up. And so it was in response to somebody setting their own up that I thought, well, maybe I should set one up, or my sister decided to set one up so that we at least had some sort of control over what was happening in response. And so all in all, there was about $1,200. Yes, we ended up in the end donating $1,000 to the food bank. And then some of that, not all of my gear made it back. So I had to replace a few items, and a couple people asked for refunds because they wanted to donate to their local food banks. So, but in the end, $1,000 went to the food bank, which was amazing. And the critical care team, those are the paramedics that work in the helicopters, jets. They work out of station at YVR, and they do really high acuity transfers, and they're dealing with a lot of the like confirmed patients, making sure that they're at the right hospitals and moving them to and from. They're doing a big food bank fundraiser, and I think their goal is around $5,000. And so we put our donation in with their pool towards the food bank. So, I mean, it's really easy to donate to the food bank. They have a website, and it's really neat because the way they purchase on such a large scale, if you're donating $1,000, essentially that means $3,000 of buying power to get food. So I feel like the food bank is a really good cause right now. There's all kinds of places for people to put their energy where they want to help. The food bank sat with me well because, I mean, what could be more important than people having their basic needs of being fed met? So.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely do our part by sharing that link below in this video as well with our viewers, so that everyone has a chance to step up and help in and chip in if they can. Well, there you have it. Thanks, Annelie, for coming in today and sharing your story with us. And thank you again to the Vancouver community for your outpour of generosity for helping us.
Thanks, Annelie, for sharing your story with us today and spending time with us. We're so glad to hear that such a tragic story ended with such a happy ending. And that's why we've partnered up with Thinkware to donate a Thinkware FA200 dashcam over to Annelie, and we've installed it into her vehicle. Because while she's protecting us, we want her to feel protected as well. And we want to do the same for other frontline workers from across North America as well. And this is why our Healthcare Heroes discount is still happening until April 30th. Right now, if you're a frontline worker, give us a shout or send us an email at info@blackboxmycar.com, and we'll provide you with 10% off any dashcam so that we can make sure you're protected while you're protecting us. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any questions, please drop it in the comments below and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks.